You're live
Not
in
yet.
about 5 seconds. And it's a little bit of a delay.
Okay.
Okay.
Receive live
Okay,
on
you are
custom
now live.
live streaming service.
Right.
Right. Now, what's my next move, Kathy?
Just wait.
Okay. We're ready to begin, right, Kathy?
We are.
Good to go. So the first thing I want to say is it's really nice to see all of you. It's been a long time, and I'm really happy that we're doing this, if for no other reason than just to see you all. So hang in there, and we'll do the best we can with this, relatively small agenda tonight. We're just trying to move along some of the consent stuff and maybe talk about some other business. Now, I have been given a scripted thing that I need to read, basically for these kind of meetings. So this is how we're going to commence this meeting. So here I go. I'm reading this from a script. As a preliminary matter, this is Ray Pohl, Chairman of the Historic District Commission. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. And now I'm going to call out each of your names. And if you can hear me, just say yes. Okay. And then for the record, we'll know who's on this call. So Val Oliver.
Yes.
Great. John McLaughlin.
Yes.
Great. Abby Camp.
Here.
All right. And we have Abby, as some of you might know already. Abby is only with us on video, on audio, no video. TJ Watterson.
I can hear you, Ray.
Thank you. Stephen Welch.
Here.
Very good. Diane Coombs.
Here.
All right. I love you, Diane. And I think that's everyone in terms of our members. Now I want to go through our staff. When you hear your name called, just say yes. Kathy Flynn.
Yes.
Holly Backus.
Yes.
And I believe that's it.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, the third option is for anticipated speakers, but I don't believe, Kathy, that there's going to be anyone speaking on this conference other than the people that I just mentioned.
Correct.
Okay. So now I'm going to move along to starting the remote meeting. Good afternoon, everyone. This is an open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission, and it's being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Nantucket Historic District Commission is convening by video conference via Zoom app, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Meeting materials. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking, and please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair. Take care to identify yourself. And Kathy, there's an item for public comment, but I don't believe we're not really addressing that tonight, are we?
That would be something that you would normally discuss at a meeting. I can refresh the browser here on the YouTube link, I believe. I don't know if Andrew Cromartie's still listening.
Should I go through what the conditions are for public comment?
Kathy, I'm sorry, say that one more time.
So this is a part of our agenda where the chair asks for public comment for those things that aren't on our agenda. So I would have to refresh the
Yes,
YouTube browser, correct?
correct.
And then how long before somebody, should I give a minute or two?
Yeah, I usually give about a minute or two.
Yeah, so far there's no comments.
Okay. So we're just going to wait for a minute to hear if there's any public comments out there. And if not, I believe we're going to move right on to our consent agenda.
Mhm.
By the way, I'm hoping that you all have either a hard copy or some virtual copy of the agenda. Is that correct? Anyone who doesn't have one, please let us know.
I don't have one.
You do
How's that
not
gonna
have
work?
one.
How's I have it what's in front of me now?
So you don't have the agenda, John?
No.
Okay, Kathy, can you send John the agenda just so he has it in front of
Yes.
him? Thank you.
If she sends that, Ray, where's it gonna come up? Right on this?
It'll
this
come on your
iPad?
computer, it'll come on as an email from Kathy.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me get that again. She's gonna send me something. It's gonna show up on this screen of mine, right?
Yeah.
No,
My computer's completely down.
I think maybe we should print a copy and drop it off.
Yeah, I think that's easier.
Uh,
To print a copy.
Yeah, we're if I may, we're gonna lose John because he gets his email on his tablet.
Oh,
I can still send it just in case, but
hey Kathy, just an FYI for the future. Zoom enables you to be able to put a document. The host can put a document up so that we could actually have a little thing on our screens that has the agenda on it. But let's not bite off too
Okay.
much in one
Right.
night.
okay.
Now, what I want you all, assuming that you all have copies of the agenda, I want you all to look at our consent agenda, which has 14 items. And if any of you have a conflict, I should know about it because you'll need to recuse. Otherwise, we have
Motion to approve.
Diane, you're making it too easy.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's supposed to be a long, drawn-out process here. Diane, I'm going to hold your motion just for a second, just to clarify two things. One, that none of the regular members of the board have a conflict on anything,
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
And two, what was the second thing? There's a second thing, very, very important thing.
We haven't done this in a while.
The second thing was the obvious. The second thing is the obvious, that because we have all of our regular members present, it will be the 5 regular members voting on the consent agenda items. So
Right.
I will now entertain Diane's motion, which is to approve the consent agenda. And what I'm going to do this by roll call, okay? So, Val,
Aye.
thank you. John,
I have nothing in front of me. I don't have a copy of the consent.
It was sent to you last week.
It's good. Well, it's in the back of this iPad I've got.
how can we expedite this?
Let me see. if I
'Cause
can-
I've got 9 on my iPad. When I open it, I
Hey,
have.
John.
Yeah.
this- Oh, yeah, but pretend
Gotta
it's me,
abstain.
because otherwise we get into protocol issues.
He's
Um,
gonna abstain anyway.
I just remembered what?
He'll
Oh,
abstain anyway.
hey, John,
Yes.
you're going to abstain anyway. So are you okay not seeing the agenda?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to abstain. It might be
Oh,
something.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's
If-
very,
if-
very
if-
valid. Very valid. Don't answer that. So
Right.
I'm going to try and get the agenda up on my screen. Lisa? Can I do that? Okay.
So you just share content.
I don't have a PDF. Let's see.
Ray, I have
Yes.
it if you want me to put it up.
Yeah.
You do? Oh, go. Yeah,
He knows how to do it.
screen share. Oh, let the record reflect that Jesse Dutra has just joined us. Jesse, can you just,
Hi.
He's been
No.
here for a while.
oh, sorry.
Even though it says Hadley Dutra on the screen.
It does.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, John,
Yes.
do you see the agenda on the screen now?
Yes.
Very good, great. So what Diane has made a motion for is to approve items 1 through 14 on the consent agenda.
1 through 14.
Yeah,
Okay. Let me run quick down it.
okay, go ahead.
Now, let me ask you an open question. If I wanted to print this,
Oh, come on.
through my iPad, so I would have a copy, or will I get a copy of this every week?
John, what we'll do in the future is we'll make sure that you get a hard copy,
Mhm.
okay?
It has been on our email a few times.
Yeah, but I think it's easy I'll just print up a hard copy and drop it off at your house, John,
There you go.
okay?
This is too late for me on this one, so I'll pass.
Understood. So is there anything that you have a concern with on our consent items 1 through 14?
Let me see. William Carlos. Let me see what they're doing. Driveway apron, no, not that. None of these. Okay, I'm done, yeah. Yes, I
Okay.
read them all, thank you.
Okay, so John, how would you vote on this? Are you going to abstain?
You have no question on it. Yes, I'll abstain.
Okay, so we have Val has voted in favor of, John has abstained. Abby, where are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so Abby in favor. Diane?
I'm good.
Okay, and the chair is good. So the motion carries 4 in favor of, 1 abstention. Thank you all very much. And now we are going to move along to consent with conditions. And again, I'd like all of the voting members to look and see whether we have any not abstentions. Conflicts, yes. I do see a waterscapes, but Jesse will not be voting on this, so that shouldn't be an issue.
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Diane.
Right
Diane,
on, Diane.
What?
Diana just made a motion to approve consent with conditions. So now, once again, roll call. Val,
Aye.
thank you. John,
Aye.
thank you. Aye or abstention? Hey, John,
I'm sorry?
I was just curious, is that a yes vote or an abstention, just for the record?
On the consent with condition,
Correct.
there's one on there, I'll have a problem. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Um, well, what do I usually do?
You usually abstain.
All right, I'm abstaining on it. I couldn't think of it.
No, that's fine. Okay, so we have John abstaining, Abby,
I'm good.
very good. And Diane? You-
I'm good.
All right, great. And the chair is in favor. So once again, we have a vote of 4 in favor, 1 abstention. Thank you all very much. And now we will move right along to our signs. We don't have Kevin Kuster or anyone from sign committee representing. Do we have any information on these?
Those were all straight approvals. They actually were on the March 10th agenda, but they didn't vote on them. So they're carried over to tonight. So
Okay, but
Kevin said that they were straight approvals.
we can vote them through as a block then.
Yes. Mhm.
Motion to approve signs per sign committee's recommendations.
Very good. So the motion on the table is to approve all of the signs as per sign advisory recommendations. Again, I will poll the board. Val,
Aye.
Yeah, there we are. John?
Yeah, I have a question on 5 and 6.
Sure.
Where is the US Reef Marine, 138 Orange Street?
That's Marine Home Center, John.
That's who?
Marine Home Center, that's their name.
Oh,
their-
I guess, okay, all right. It's just curious. I gotta know. Thank you.
That's
You're
fine.
welcome.
So John, are you voting in favor of the signs or?
Yes. I vote in
Okay,
favor
very
of the
good.
sign.
Abby?
Yeah, I'm good.
Very good. Thank you. Diane?
I'm good.
Great. And chairs in favor of. So that's a unanimous vote for the signs. 5 in favor.
Yes.
Okay, we have a vote. No, item number 5 is a vote to be ratified. And I see we have 4 commissioners that need to be on this. So who's chairing that?
Stephen.
Okay, very good.
Stefan.
All right, so John, I stopped the share just so I can chair this. It's 11 Davis Lane. I'm not quite sure the vote to be ratified, what the purpose is. The motion, just to set the stage here, the motion for this, my recollection was that the move off was approved.
Mhm.
The move off to 3 Miller Lane was not approved,
Mhm.
pending subsequent information, including, let's see here, we wanted a site plan with dimensions, for a scaled site plan with dimensions
Right.
from 2 lot lines.
Mhm.
The floor plan or the roof plan shown on the site plan. We didn't request elevations, but we did want images, and in that way we'd also be able to understand the cardinal points and the orientation of this structure on the new lot. So what I'd ask for is a motion to approve the move off, but not a particular location at this point. And then that way, my understanding is it gives the applicant the ability to do any paperwork they need to do. So, and the move on will be controlled by later submission on the 3 Miller Lane information.
Kathy,
Can I get
Yes.
a motion on that?
could you throw that back up, the agenda?
Yep, hold on one second, John.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. What
Right.
is, this is Judith Cohen, 11 Davis Lane. Move off to 3 Millers Lane. What are they moving?
They're moving a house that exists there onto Miller's Lane.
I mean, is it a shed or is it a garage or a house?
No, it's a house, a total house. And we were all okay with it moving, but we
Okay.
wanted information on where it was moving to.
All right, I've got it. Thank you.
I'll second Stephen's motion.
Actually, Jess, just for propriety, I'd ask that, go ahead and make the motion.
Motion to approve, move off, but not to move on until we have further information from the applicant.
Thank you. So no dissent, carries unanimously. And
No.
as acting chair, I'll hand back the chair to Chairman Paul.
Mr. Chair, if I may, you have to do a vote, a roll call vote for that.
Oh, my apologies.
Because we're zooming.
Okay, so Jesse, you're obviously in favor of your own motion, but could you start the vote?
Aye.
Val,
Jesse Dutra, aye.
Aye.
Val Oliver, John McLaughlin,
Aye.
and acting chair is in favor.
I've got a comment. Usually, if we have a motion, somebody makes a motions, and then it says those in favor and those not. Instead of going each one of us at a time, just say those in favor, those opposed. Does it work better that way?
Well, John, we're required under this new executive order to poll the individual members.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Now I'm just saying, yeah, all right. I'm curious why we're not voting the other way. Okay,
This is just temporary, John.
yeah, so am I. I'm learning.
Oh,
Okay, so that was that, right? You concluded that business. Now we are under a discussion. This is item number 6 on the agenda, a discussion and vote on to authorize chair to sign consents. So the genesis of this was, and I'm gonna sort of walk back the genesis of this. I was looking for ways that we could ensure that when we were able to reconvene in person at our normal spot, that we didn't have a huge backlog of stuff. And so clearly, we don't want to be doing anything that involves anything controversial or anything that requires a lot of discussion. So consent was the sort of thing that I focused in on, where these are kind of very small items that, basically we approve as a block. And, frankly, we just went through this the first time and it didn't seem to be too much trouble. So I would invite, if anyone has a comment on sort of procedurally, I think the choices are, we could have the staff review consent, maybe have some, any member that's interested in looking at the consent, what's on the consent agenda would be available for view. But then I could vote that through so the consents could move forward. Barring that, we would just do it exactly the way we just did it, via Zoom conference, and we just all voted the way we always have voted it. So does anyone have an opinion that they'd like to share on that particular issue?
Ray,
Yes.
Ray,
Diane. Yes. Diane.
can't we vote for the one time to cover the amount of consents that have gathered since we have not been able to meet? And so then stuff that came up afterwards, we'd go back to the regular thing, but we would be able to have staff cover everything up until we meet. Would that not be easy?
Okay, so I'm not sure what you mean. So, right, we just approved the consent agenda that dated back from March 15th or something like that. So
Right.
that's behind us now. Now, Kathy will have to let us all know, because frankly, I don't quite know the answer to this. Are we accepting submissions at the office? And if so, if not, are we even going
No.
to have a consent agenda?
so if I may,
Yes.
this this item on the agenda is, first of all, for Ray to sign a consent agenda during the COVID-19 crisis when the office is closed. And when he signs it, then I will put it on the next agenda to be ratified. For purposes of accepting applications in the office, we are accepting consent, accepting applications. Consents will go through Ray. And then any new applications will be accepted, but they will have to sign a waiver. And we don't really have a meeting date right now for new business until further notice
How
right
does
now.
that work? Where do you accept them?
Well, we're working that out because the office is still closed. So we have to work out how we're going to be receiving paper documents. So that's right now, Leslie and Andrew are working on that. But right now the office, so if you mail it in to me, I can review it and look it over. And if it's consent item, then Ray can sign it immediately. And then I can put it on the next agenda to be ratified. Those that aren't consent items will just sit in a pile until we meet.
So,
Why
Go
does
ahead,
he
Stephen.
have to sign them immediately when you get them?
Well, if they're if they relate to an emergency situation during to not have a backlog of applications. So ones that are considered consent items, he can sign and we can process and get them out of the way. But nothing really can be done because the office is still closed.
Yeah,
Right.
so
But at
that
least they'll
doesn't
be
make sense to
signed.
me.
Sorry?
I don't think that makes sense to me. It's like having him sign them already before we even look at them, and they're just gonna come through to us whether we have questions or not, they're already signed.
Well, it's more for if there's an emergency as well, because
Well, and if it's an emergency, that's a completely different case, but just general applications, I think.
okay,
Can I make a suggestion?
yes,
please.
I think we're gonna have some members who are gonna want to at least look at the list. Historically, that'll be the case. I'd like to say that, Kathy, I really appreciate the fact that you did the clickable consent items so that we could actually look at the applications in advance. I would just suggest that maybe we proceed the way we did today. We get these in advance. If anyone has a question, they can look at them. Obviously, we can schedule an emergency meeting if we need to. And frankly, with the offices closed, it gives us an opportunity to all log in, check in, review what might be consent, what doesn't, not questioning whether it's a consentable item, but I think it's good. It gives everybody an opportunity to click through and look at them in advance. So unless it's an emergency item, and also simply based on the fact that the office is kind of closed down at this point. There's not there. They would be signed, but they wouldn't be going anywhere. You
Mhm.
can't see that I'm talking with my hands, but I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. So it sounds to me like we don't run any big risk by just simply doing what we just did.
Right.
And Kathy, I guess if there's any kind of an emergency thing that comes up, you and I can speak and then decide
Right.
what to do with it.
Yeah, I believe that before when we had discussed this, we didn't know if we would be meeting that often. So,
Right,
and that has now changed. So,
right.
okay,
Greg?
well, we covered it.
Okay.
Greg?
So yes, John, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
If this just proceeds along this way and if we want the agenda for each meeting, have it available so we can all look at it. I agree. Now, Steve made a suggestion to me a couple of weeks ago, which is going to help me. He says, John, he said, if these have to be in by 2:00 on Friday, that will continue.
That's a
What-
question for Kathy.
The
So,
meeting
well,
agenda.
well, we have different meeting dates, which is on other business. So those are different posting times. We have meetings on a Monday, they're scheduled. I had to schedule ahead of time. I don't know if you wanted to wait and discuss that during the other business.
Kathy, if I may, I think, John, are you asking when the applications are submitted, the due?
No, you suggested to me to go in the office if I wanted to. But when I get the thing Friday or Saturday morning, I open my email
Mhm.
and I look at the agendas and whatever's information. That's a good suggestion because that way I still gotta wait till Friday at 2:00, but they can't be posted after 2:00.
John, you're
So-
talking about links to the actual applications, correct?
Correct.
That also, yeah,
Okay.
that plus the agenda.
Okay.
Because
Which is very helpful to have them ahead of time. Thank you, Kathy.
Oh, you're welcome. Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
that's fine, John. I can send it to you on Fridays if you prefer. I mean, they usually are on Fridays, so we'll just stick to that schedule for you.
no, I say that's very helpful. It's a good idea.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, let's stick with that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So Kathy, I don't believe we actually need to take a vote on this, right? There's nothing really. to
No,
vote-
there's
vote
nothing to
on.
really do.
You're in-
Yeah.
holding the course. Now, there is one thing, and I'm looking for it under other business, which is the meeting schedule that Kathy just talked about. So Kathy needed to reserve some slots with Zoom and all that. So we have these slots reserved, including next Tuesday.
No.
Oh, not next
No,
Tuesday?
no.
Next
Would you like
Monday.
me to give? I want to give you the dates real quickly again.
It almost doesn't matter.
Okay.
But so we have these
Email us.
slots. We have these slots that are available to us. Now, whether or not we use them, we still don't quite know. And what I mean by that is our intention was to move forward with what we considered to be non-controversial old business items. And Kathy and I were talking about this today because there are some controversial old business items that are up. But I think that given the fact that we're just getting used to this whole Zoom setup, and then we potentially be inviting other participants, neighbors that are objecting, attorneys, all that, that I think would be way too much to take on at the moment on a Zoom session. So Kathy and I talked about, well, why don't we just move forward then with the non-controversial old business stuff? And I have one small concern with that. And that is, what if it's non-controversial right at the moment and we proceed with it, and then it turns out that actually there was a neighbor that for whatever reason wanted to express some concern and they weren't given due process. So what I am having Kathy do is consult with town council about this issue, because to the degree that we are able to process things now in this manner over Zoom, I think that's great if we are not getting ourselves into trouble with due process and allowing neighbors to voice their concerns, et cetera. So this is something I want town council's opinion on. Kathy's going to get that for us. And once we have the answer to that, then we will be better able to look at our old business agenda, things that we've already reviewed for the first time, that we have comments on, and we've now had things back on. And if we're able to push those through, great. If we can't, we just have to wait. So, or find another system that works to have all these concerned parties participating in the discussion. So that's where that item is.
Ray, if I may, I did speak to Andrew right after we had that discussion, and he said that we could either not have a meeting, or if it became controversial, we could postpone that into another meeting. If it was still, if you hadn't made that, haven't made an approval.
Could you explain it? So when you say not have a meeting, you mean?
So
not
Yeah,
do it.
you would just, if you were concerned about certain items, we just wouldn't have those on the agenda or not have a meeting at all. Or if one
Not
turned
having
out-
a meeting at all is certainly the safest thing to do. But I'm trying to balance getting things through the pipeline so that when we are finally able to go back to our usual venue,
right,
that we don't have a stack of paperwork that's 2 miles
Right.
high.
right,
That's what I don't want.
yeah,
But now part of that is remedied by the fact that right at the moment, as Kathy just said, they're not accepting applications. So there's not an awful lot to be reviewing. And as we all know, the building department is not reviewing their applications. So the whole thing is kind of shut down. So I think that where we are is we're just going to sort of wait and see. I would like to know if there's anything that we can be doing this way. We now kind of all know how the system works. That's great. We took it for our trial run. And if we're able to move some stuff along that way, fine. If we're feeling that it's potentially going to open us up to some, problems, then I would put a hold on it, definitely.
Ray,
Yes, John.
I have a comment on that. I was thinking, the process now is have the agenda ready at 2:00. That's fine, because I can get it anytime after 2 for the
Mhm.
next meeting on the next week on Tuesday, right?
Correct.
Is that correct?
No, the next scheduled meeting through Zoom is Monday, the 27th.
Right, but
I
it's
did
here.
send out the times I had to reserve.
Do you want me to
Eric-
list them?
Yes, please.
Monday, the
It is
27th.
Monday, April 27th, Monday, May 4th, and Monday, May 11th.
And then Tuesday, May 19th, and Tuesday, May 26th.
So Ray,
Yes, Stephen.
I just wanted to ask, so it sounds like we're pretty good with the idea of if there's something that would deem to generally be non-controversial, that we list it, and if it turns out to be controversial, we could postpone it.
Exactly.
And I guess the question, okay, we just want to make sure there's a common understanding. I guess the question is then, we're taking comments from members of the public, or we're opening up for comments from members of the public through YouTube? And that's how we would determine whether it seemed like we needed to postpone something. If there were no comments, clearly there's no controversy. If there were, and they were of a nature that was controversial, or that could somehow indicate more public comment was required, then we would postpone.
You would pull the plug. So Stephen, all of that is correct. The only thing that all of the board members have experienced before that is sort of a lingering concern for me is you have somebody who basically sends in an email letter that they wrote like the night before the hearing. Why? Because they just got noticed, they just got the notification and they can't make the meeting, and they're concerned, but they want to hold the application and this and that. There's always people that are saying, oh, well, I didn't even know you guys were reviewing it. So sometimes we think that something is not going to be a concern, and then all of a sudden the following week we have 10 letters, that all flood in. So that's what I'm talking about. The
Gotcha.
things that don't appear to be controversial that might wind up being controversial. That's all.
Ray,
Yes, John.
I have an added question.
Yes.
If on a Friday, the agenda is ready and sent out, okay, and I pick it up at 4:00. If after supper I sit down and I open the, I'm gonna get my computer fixed, but once I get it up, I can sit in front of that, and as I usually would do, as was suggested, I will take the agenda and go down it, and if I have questions, I'll side write them, like Steve asked me to do, mentioned for me to do. It would be easier for me to do it that way. Are we still going to continue to have them so you can open up the application, see what they're doing. That'll still be available?
If I may,
Go.
I would imagine the agent that was presenting the application would do his share screen and be able to present what the revisions were for an old business meeting, let's just say. So that we would have that capability, or we would by opening up the town website, because I post them on the town website. But usually the agent would be displaying what he had made changes on for old business. Is
Yeah.
that what you're?
Tell me this, if I pick, I know, once I get something locked in upstairs, I'm okay. I'm always on the first floor. If I opened an application, right, and I said, oh, this guy's gonna move this piece off this left side of his house and put an addition on. All right, and I want to see what's existing, because they send photos with everything now. And if I can open the applications, all right, as they come, if I have a question, and see what it looks like or what they want. This can save me doing a lot of time of viewings too, you know? Will that be available?
So what I've been doing and what we will continue to do is I will post it on the website, and then you'll do your homework and you'll review from the website the changes that were requested from the applicant. And then the applicant, when they're at the meeting here with us, will most likely, I would imagine, show his screen and what he was proposing, and then go from there. And then ask
Right,
individual
yeah.
comments.
You're saying the applicant. Now, if I'm sitting in my chair and going over this, and I go, number 3, I want to check out that. Yeah. So now I can open it up without going to getting down the office to look at it.
You
You know,
can.
look at to
Yeah,
see
you
what
have to
they're
do
doing.
May I
if I
just,
may. Oh, yeah.
sorry. So John, what John is looking for, we've discussed this in the past, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, but what John's looking for is the capability that Kathy created by loading the applications, not just the views that we used to get in advance, but loading each application so that, and we've more recently done with consent, so that any application can be viewed online in advance of the meeting.
Right.
And I think that's what John's looking for clarification on. And John, I think Kathy's saying yes.
Sorry, I have been doing that. I've been titling it is either old business agenda or new business agenda. So they've already been on the website. So trying to, the past few meetings prior to the shutdown. So they are available for you to review before the meeting.
Yeah, and
And
I
I'm
think
doing
John,
the same thing with old business. I'm adding those on the website. So you all have the ability to view them before the meeting.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
I want to elaborate on that, John.
Okay.
So, John, you're going to have 2 opportunities to review. One is going to be before the meeting. You're going to be able to go through and look at all the drawings for all the things that we're going to be reviewing before the meeting. That's your first opportunity. Your second opportunity is going to be when an applicant is up showing what the changes are that they're making to the building, that we're going to have the screen share, the document share thing that Stephen just did for the agenda. That's going to be on your screen. So the applicant is going to be able to say, well, look here on the north elevation, I changed this. And on the south elevation, I changed this. And it's going to be all on your screen. So you're going to have 2 chances to be able to look at the documents, one beforehand and the second while we're all together on the computer screen. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And also, if for some reason the applicant doesn't have the ability to do that, I can do that,
Well,
or Holly
Kathy,
can do that.
let me just say, in order to sort of make sure that it's smooth running, let's rather than rely on the applicant to have it all set up, if you could just have everything there, and I don't think we're talking about that many applications really, have them all there, and then we'll put it up on the screen.
Mhm.
You'll put it up on the screen. The applicant will, use the cursor and show what he changed. And so then it's all consistent.
Mhm.
We won't have
Absolutely.
somebody walk in and say, oh gosh, I don't know how to do it. I don't have any
Okay.
drawings.
Yeah, that's a
So-
good idea.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, that can be arranged.
Okay. Now, you you all have the agenda, like, once again. Is there anything that anyone feels that it's urgent to discuss at this time under all other business, now that we have it
Yes.
together? Well, yes, Holly, go for it.
So I wanted to let you know that I've been in discussions with our Resilient Nantucket consultants. As you know, we were supposed to have our forum the end of March, and of course with COVID, we had to cancel and everything else. They are trying to make it so we can do a virtual forum one like we were planning on doing. We've been talking to administration, and hopefully at some point we can have that set up. So I just wanted to give you that update. And then also I've been in discussion with the consultant on a format of these guidelines. And if there's something that's specific that you all are wanting to add, please email me, let me know. Of course, at the end of the day, these guidelines are for elevation, hardening, wet proofing, what have you. They're not taking all our design guidelines from building with Nantucket in mind. This is specifically for our elevations for FEMA flood areas. So I know this is a little bit not the process that I would like to see. In a perfect world, we would have flushed a lot of this out, but we're trying to get some of this done because we do have a deadline with the state. We have reached out to the state, and we're looking at guidance from them on handling these. It looks like we'll get an extension because we were supposed to have everything done at the end of June.
I would hope
So
so.
yes,
Yeah,
right.
please.
And we're thinking that's what's going to happen because we're not the only MVP community that has an action grant that has something in progress. So we're not the only ones. If anybody has anything else on that, I wanted to move on to something else, if that's okay. That's on
I
the agenda.
actually have a comment on that. I would just be concerned that, the HTC have full opportunity to weigh in on not only preliminary, but anything in a draft form before finalization.
Absolutely.
It's just such an incredibly important task that they're undertaking, and it will impact decisions that we make as a commission for perhaps many years to come. So I think it's important.
Absolutely, I agree.
Duly noted.
Thanks, Holly.
No problem. The next thing is about our NAPC camp that we were supposed to have, the National Alliance for Preservation Commissioners. So two things. They have reached out and asked, we were supposed to have our design guideline or our camp at the end of May, and we're probably going to go towards a virtual meeting as well, which I thought is great. Don't know exactly when. It would probably be later in the summer, maybe early fall, but that is something that they are working at with other places that they were planning on having camp. And so that would be great. In addition, NAPC is tied up with or teamed up with the National Trust for Historic Preservation in wanting to get feedback from commissions across the country dealing with this right now, what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So after this first initial virtual meeting we're having, I'd like to send you a link and have you fill out that survey if you wouldn't mind, to give them some input. I did let them know that we were having our first virtual HDC meeting and trying to, feel the waters, if you will. This is the way that the world is going. On that note, we're not the only, obviously, commission in the country that have done virtual meetings. And with that, I've been trying to monitor what is going nationally, what the state is doing from other commissions in the state. So any feedback that I see, I will definitely bring to your attention because we obviously don't know how long this is going to be. I wanted to let you know on that. And then another thing on NAPC, I have been involved with a one part of our class that we were going to have with NAPC was going to deal about disaster recovery planning, specifically what we're going to be doing anyways. And I've been asked to be a advisory member on this nationally, I guess, group with NAPC, creating this camp plan. And it's pretty cool and honored to be a part of this group because these people are from all over the country, FEMA, MEMA, the National Park Service, you name it. And there's only a couple of us that are from local jurisdictions representing the on the ground aspect. So I just wanted to share that with you, what I've been doing on that front. But yes, I'm going to send out that link to the survey, and I would love it if you could just give them your ideas and thoughts on this new way of doing business.
Great. Thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
John.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the room? We're all home, right?
Yes.
Okay. All the members are there
Yeah.
up on the screen.
Yeah, but
Diane.
you're not seeing everyone, John. You sort of have to scroll to get to see everybody, and you won't get to see Abby because she's in a very dark room right now. I guess.
Very funny. I'm listening.
Broadcasting from under her bed. So, John,
This is my new buddy.
question?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
cutie.
John,
Yes.
did you have a question about who was present on the call, on the conference?
Yes. Is anybody other than the board on this conference call? Oh,
Yes. Yes, 2 people, actually 3 people. You have Holly, right? You have Kathy, and you have the guy who's doing the video that he's behind the town of Nantucket seal. And his name, I believe, is William, correct?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Oh, Marty.
Oh, no.
Oh, you called him
Oh.
Eric before.
He looks
Now-
so much like a William to me.
And John, you're also on YouTube.
Streaming live.
Yes, so I believe this is kind of public. It's live streaming, so yeah.
John, only Reader's Digest jokes, please.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, I think that this was a tremendous success. And I really appreciate all of you participating in this, and I look forward to doing it again real soon. Is there anything else we want to cover before I request a motion to adjourn?
The
Right,
minutes.
yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, John.
Yeah. I haven't heard a word. And usually everybody speaks in our meetings. What's TJ think about this?
I think the format's great, John, and I like that, we've talked about it and that I get to say something. And, I'm looking forward to the rest of the meetings, and I like the online presentation format because it keeps us safe. And,
When is your next meeting? Tuesday?
The 27th,
Monday.
and the 4th and the 11th.
When is it?
Maybe you should explain why it's not a consistent Tuesday thing to John so he gets it.
Yes,
I'll-
so I had to reserve slots. I couldn't reserve all Tuesday nights through town administration, so there are a few Monday night meetings. The first one being next Monday, April 27th, and
Okay.
then Monday, May 4th, Monday, May 11th, and then Tuesday, May
19th. The 19th.
thank you, May 19th, and then Tuesday, May 26th.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
Crazy.
Steph.
What are we gonna discuss next Tuesday if we're not accepting applications
Yeah.
yet?
So the reality,
Organizational
Val,
stuff?
the reality is, unless we feel comfortable, we being town council, me, Kathy, unless we feel comfortable going forward and reviewing some of the old business items,
Yep,
there probably will not be a meeting
okay.
Monday. Okay? But we'll get that figured out in the next day or so. And
Okay.
I'm gonna let you know.
And would it be a good time for us to discuss some of the things we never seem to get to at the end of the agenda? On a weekly basis, organizational
Listen,
stuff?
If you guys are interested in getting together on those times that Kathy just mentioned, let's do it. If we want to discuss other business items and sort of move that along as well as the other stuff, let's do it. I'm fine with that.
I just think it's stuff we could cross off our list
Mhm.
that's been
Yeah.
hanging on and hanging on.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So we have a number of things, as you all know, that have been piling up on the other business agenda. So here's what I would like, Val.
Okay.
Why don't we earmark certain things? Like if certain members feel that there's things that they want to discuss as a priority, let me know. I'll discuss it with Kathy, and then we can sort of move that up to the front burner. All right,
Okay.
so that we all know what we're going to be discussing. Sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Hey,
Yes,
John,
can you-
I love your hair. It looks great.
Maggie.
Mr. Chair, if I may, if I may,
Can you
Mr.
see
Chair?
me? Can you see me? Yes. You see, do you like my Albert Einstein haircut? Because I can't
love
get
it.
this barber shop. Fluffed up like this when I take my hat off.
Albert
do something
Einstein,
like that, too.
barber.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Was that Kathy that said that? Who just mentioned?
Yes.
if I may,
Yeah.
you have minutes to approve?
Oh, gosh, thank you. You're right. Yes. Okay. Thanks so much, Kathy. I knew there was something else. So, folks, we have the minutes from February 11th, February 18th, and February 25th. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So
Yes.
move.
Thank you,
there's the-
Diane.
By roll call?
I'm sorry.
roll
Steve,
call?
Did you? Yes. Hang on one second. Did you have something to say, Stephen? Oh, sorry. I thought I heard you. Okay, so we're going to do a roll call vote, regular members on approving the minutes of the 11th, the 18th, and 25th. If we're all ready to do that, I'm going to go right through it. So Val,
Hi.
thank you. John,
Yes.
thank you. Abby,
I'm okay with that.
great. I love it. And Diane,
Okay,
all right. The chair's in favor, so minutes approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Anything else, Kathy?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Great
Once
time.
again, thanks so much. It was really great seeing all of you. And I'm glad that this was all so successful and seamless. We're ready for the big time now.
Ray,
Boy.
Ray,
Yes,
Yeah.
John.
it's nice to see you, Hadley. I haven't seen you for a while. Hi, yeah, here he is. Yeah. he's looking-
Hadley, also known as Jesse. Hadley, Jesse.
Where was the missing woman? I haven't seen her.
She's there. She just
Oh, yeah.
out of commish.
She's gone home right now.
Missing woman.
So how about I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Bye.
bye.
Roll
Good to
call.
see you.
Favor.
Roll-
I gotta do
roll
roll
call.
call.
Next
Gotta do
week.
Roll call, sorry. Okay. Val,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
John,
Bye, Steve.
what?
Yes.
What? That is a yes? John, that was
Jesus.
an aye?
Skip him.
Yes,
Okay. And last and certainly not least, Diane.
yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. And chair is in favor. Hey,
Okay.
you guys take care of yourselves. It was really great seeing you.
Be safe,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye. Yeah,
Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Goodbye.
bye.
Yes.
We know how to hang up this thing.